Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whether you're watching this from. This is my Formula 1 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix review, where we saw back-to-back wins for Oscar Piastri and the third race win of the season for Oscar Piastri, which means Oscar Piastri is now the new championship leader after 5 races. Is he the man to beat, we all wonder, and not Lando Norris? But his win may be a bit controversial with what happened on the opening lap, right from the start of the race line, where we saw him and Max Verstappen go toe-to-toe into turn one. Max Verstappen got a 5-second penalty for Dane and Levantis done off track. But yes, see the images and see who's at fault, if anyone's at fault. So Piastri got off to a great start off the line. That's why you do see Oscar Piastri alongside Max Verstappen. And I said before the race that Oscar Piastri shouldn't have that inside line, which he did. He did have that inside line, Oscar Piastri. And I think I remember with the Max Verstappen Lewis Hamilton incident into turn one, I'm pretty sure Lewis Hamilton went on the outside. I'm pretty sure Max Verstappen went on the inside. So for me, I am still with Oscar Piastri from that image because he does have the inside line. But yes, move on. Continue with the other images. This is where now the turning inside turn one. Again, I'm asking to myself, what can Oscar Piastri do? It looks quite close there in terms of turning in. Max Verstappen stopped plenty of space there on the outside line. I don't think Oscar Piastri's done anything wrong, and this is what we're done there. This is what we're done there with Piastri and Verstappen. Both of these drivers, they do not care one bit. They will close the door. Both of these drivers, right? Both of these drivers will close the door. Both of these drivers will get their elbows out in Piastri and Verstappen. And for me, again, even from that image, I'm still on Oscar Piastri's side because he had the inside line, in my opinion. As we continue, again, it does look like Max Verstappen is now ahead in terms of starting to turn in. But again, like I keep saying, both these race drivers, they don't get their elbows out. And my point still stands. Piastri has the inside line. And this is where now was Oscar Piastri. This image now probably changes everything back into Max Verstappen's favour, where you may have to say Oscar Piastri should maybe give more room to Max Verstappen. But, and by the way, I rate Max Verstappen. I do rate him. But whenever, this is what I'm saying about sometimes F1 drivers can be hypocrites. I don't think Piastri's done anything wrong here. I don't think he's done anything wrong. He's just getting his elbows out. Max Verstappen for me, he doesn't like it when he gets done to him. But when he does it, it's all okay. But my point is, I do see Max Verstappen's point in this image. To be fair. Because it does look different now. It does look like Piastri is waiting a bit yet to try and force Verstappen off the track. I don't think he is, personally. I just don't think he is. Because you still see Piastri, he's still steering that wheel when turning to turn one. And this is where now Max Verstappen will have. This is where Verstappen does off track now. He has to do off track. But for me, I think it's just a contradiction, isn't it, really, from Max Verstappen for me, where if he does it, by the way, there's nothing wrong with doing it, by the way. It's a racing incident. Neither are at fault for me. Racing incident for me. The guidelines are unfortunately for Max Verstappen, if you go off track and don't give it back, don't get the PS back, you'll get 5-second penalty. And that is not Max Verstappen's fault, by the way. I think his team should be telling him. I think Red Bull should be telling Max Verstappen to give the PS back straight away. Give it back straight away. And you know what? We probably would have been sitting here talking about Max Verstappen giving that PS back, and Max Verstappen still going on to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And I think that toll from Red Bull to not make that call has cost Max Verstappen the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, in my opinion. So for me, there's nothing controversial about it, in my opinion. But also, we did have another incident, which was on the same lap from the race start. Yuki Tsunoda and Piastri. So this is Yuki Tsunoda. Obviously, you see there, Yuki Tsunoda does have the inside line on Piastri. As we continue to look at the images, Piastri does break a bit yet, to be fair. I will give Yuki Tsunoda that. Piastri does break yet, but at the end of the day, if there's a gap in F1, if there's a gap on the racing line, you go for it, in my opinion. And this is when the turn in Piastri, as you see there, Piastri is ahead when the turn into that corner. And for me, I think Yuki Tsunoda's at fault for me. I think he is, because I'm looking at that there. I think Piastri has the inside line. He does have. He was ahead. Well, he was ahead on the outside, Piastri. And Yuki Tsunoda, I'm sorry, he knew he was there. He knew Piastri was there. And this is what I'm saying about Yuki Tsunoda. This is why I was 50-50 on him joining Red Bull. Because he can have good moments, Yuki Tsunoda, but he is reckless. He really is. He really is reckless. He's a headless chicken. He's reckless. I think he did that on purpose. Yuki Tsunoda turned to the right on purpose for me, despite Piastri was ahead of him. Yuki Tsunoda, I'm sorry, he did that on purpose for me, turning to the right on purpose, in my opinion, because he's a reckless driver, Yuki Tsunoda. And this is what I'm saying, he'll cost Red Bull a lot of team dances as well. This is what I'm saying about Red Bull second seat. Carlos Sainz was the man today for Red Bull second seat, but the thing is, Carlos Sainz would have challenged Max Verstappen, and that's what Red Bull don't want. They don't want a challenger to Max Verstappen. They want a number 2 driver. And now I'm starting to look at it. You have to feel sorry for Liam Lawson, because Liam Lawson didn't cost any team damages to Red Bull, and Yuki Tsunoda's already done that. Already cost his team damages. But that's the thing with the Red Bull second seat. Who's really good enough really to be a number 2 driver? You could maybe got Valtteri Bottas in, but I don't think that would have happened with the Mercedes Red Bull rival in 2021. But to be fair, strange things have happened. To be fair, and the only last good number 2 driver Red Bull was obviously Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez doing the job for Red Bull, apart from his final season, where he just won a ship at Red Bull. But before Perez, you'd have to say it's probably Ricciardo, and then before Ricciardo, it was Mark Webber. So for me, I think Yuki Tsunoda's at fault there, and as you've seen in the last image, when he's turned to the right, he touches Piastri rear wheel, and both of them spin, and both of them are out of the Grand Prix. So that's my opinion on it, personally. And but let's have the rest of the results then. Charles Leclerc, you know what? Credit to Charles Leclerc. A good race from him. I won't say brilliant race from him, because Ferrari should be expecting better, in my opinion. But a good race from Charles Leclerc to hold off Lando Norris for that final podium place as well. something different can be said about his teammate, Lewis Hamilton. Again, not done enough from Hamilton, in my opinion. I dare the signs now that Lewis Hamilton is really a Watts driver. Let's be real. He really is Watts. And he got out-qualified by a Williams driver in qualifying. And by the way, Williams are preparing for next season regulations. And you got two Mercedes drivers still finishing above Lewis Hamilton. After Hamilton, yeah, Mercedes. You can't make it up, can you? Can't make it up. It is a joy to us, to be fair. It's a joy to us. It's a big FU to Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes, to be fair. George Russell, underachievement for me from George Russell in the race, a bit underachievement, especially with where he qualified. Kimi Antonelli, he was always going to be there and thereabouts. Lando Norris making up a lot of paces after crossing qualifying 3, meaning he starts from P10. Made up a lot of paces up to P4, which is still, for me, still a good race from Lando Norris. A couple more laps, yeah. If the race went on for a couple more laps, Lando Norris could have got a podium, in my opinion. So it was always damaged invitations after qualifying 3 for Lando. Double points for Williams and with Carlos Sainz and Albon both getting the points. So a good weekend for them, getting the points, especially when they're preparing for next season regulations as well. And Isaac Hadjar, who continues to surprise us all, still on the last point of the race, and not even still on the last point. He was quite comfortable in 10th place, to be fair. And he has been the surprise package so far, Isaac Hadjar in F1 this season, continuing to impress in that racing bulls. Fernando Alonso missing out on the points. I think we've seen some improvements from Aston Martin, a little bit of an improvement here in this Grand Prix, but nowhere near good enough to get in the points. Liam Lawson in 12th, he did that 10-second penalty as well. Liam Lawson, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Liam Lawson. 2 Haas drivers, 13th and 14th. This wasn't their circuit for me. It just wasn't their circuit. I think they should be better in the next Grand Prix, which I think is Miami Grand Prix. I think they should be better at that circuit. Hulkenberg, Stroll, Doohan, Bortoletto, the drivers who didn't score points, along with Yuki Tsunoda and Perdazzi, both, of course, DNFing in that Pearson on the opening lap. So what does it mean then for the drivers? Something after Saudi Arabia. Also Piastri with a 10-point lead over teammate Lando Norris. Max Verstappen only 12 points behind the championship lead. George Russell in 4th with 73. Leclerc 47. Antonelli 38. Hamilton 31. Albon 20. Ocon 14th. Lance Stroll 10. Perdazzi, Hulkenberg, Berman, all on 6 points. Hadjar, Sainz, Tsunoda, all on 5 points. And Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Chad Doohan, and David Bortoletto, the only ones yet to score points this season. In terms of Constructors' Championship, McLaren have a 77-point lead over Mercedes in 2nd. Red Bull are not in the Constructors' battle. Max Verstappen, the only championship Red Bull will be fighting for is the Drivers' Championship with Max Verstappen. So Red Bull in 3rd with 89, Ferrari 78, Williams 25, Haas 20, Aston Martin with 10 points, Racing Bulls with 8 points, Alpine with the 6 points, along with Sauber with 6 points as well. So that is my review of the Formula 1 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's back-to-back wins for Oscar Piastri, a 3rd race win of the season for Oscar Piastri. Is he the McLaren to beat, not Lando Norris? And is Max Verstappen truly well in this championship race after this weekend? After in the 4th quickest car, qualifying on pole, and if anything, the 5-second penalty probably cost Max Verstappen the win in Saudi Arabia. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all for the Miami Grand Prix preview. I think it's Miami, or it might be Imola, might be one of the two.